So we're just staying, focused on the stuff that we messed up, so we don't make those same mistakes twice. But it's a long season, so we can't dwell on it too bad. So we got a game tomorrow.
Kind of broad, but what are some of the main points that the coach Self's emphasizing to you guys at this point?
Just be tougher. We knew that going into obviously that game was going to be a dogfight, and we could have put more on the line. So just emphasizing that, get tougher, and just play with more like reckless abandonment.
When you look back on the film in the second half, is there anything that sticks out that maybe you guys didn't see in the game?
Probably say just offensive rebounds, the offensive rebounds that they had. I say that, yeah.
And when you guys play a taller team like UNC, what's the kind of mindset? Obviously, because you guys are not quite as tall as UNC. How do you guys go in and make sure there isn't a big rebounding advantage like they had?
Just be more physical, be tough, and use our speed and athleticism. We're pretty fast, so we just got to use that, get out in transition more, and make them play at our pace.
I think you guys gave up, 58 points in the second half. Was that an area of emphasis for coach, and what did he kind of address to you guys? And did you see any patterns or anything maybe that you guys can shore up?
Absolutely. As a team, we noticed that, and obviously something that we wish we could have, got back. But as regarding the patterns, they ran, the same play 3-4 times down the floor to start the half, and then they ran another action like 3-4 times down. So just picking up on those type of things and communicating more, because we're going to have a lot of big games along the course of this season. So being able to talk and communicate in those loud environments and stay poised, I feel like that's something that we're going to get better at, along the course of this season. So, yeah.
After missing last year, do you feel up to like true game speed, or do you feel like you might need a little more time to get there?
I feel like I'm there. I feel like preseason and obviously that first big game it's an adjustment, especially coming back from injury. But I feel like I got my my feet underneath me.
Elmarko, as a guy that sat out last year and kind of was with last year's group, and now it's a bunch of new faces this year, what are kind of the biggest differences that you've seen from last year's group to this year's group, and how excited should people be for what they have?
The biggest difference for me, I'd probably say, is like our athleticism. I feel like we play fast, so I feel like we're gonna just have to showcase it more. I feel like that's something that coach has been getting on to us. I feel like we're competitive, so it's just like stuff that we're gonna have to continue to build and grow on along the course of the season. Obviously the UNT game was tough, so it's just like it sucks, but we had to get smacked in the mouth to see what that tastes like and not taste that again. So.
There's been a couple minutes in each game where Darren and Melvin are both off the floor and you're kind of maybe at the helm. What's your mindset in those moments, and how do you approach those minutes when you're kind of the initiator?
And that, I just talked to my coaches a lot about getting the ball on the third side and making sure we get a shot every time down the floor. Usually when they're not in the game, Floor is in at the post, so he's a primary option for us on offense. So looking to see if we get him a mismatch on a ball screen pick and roll, and then obviously he gets that mismatch, we hit him there, and then if not, we got shooters in space and floor like Cole or JD. So either me getting downhill, trying to draw a man, kick it to them, or get it to Floor, get my own shot. So yeah.
What do you think of the game Bryson had Tiller?
He had a really good game. He's, really poised for a freshman, come in there and hit 4 big shots in that first half. So I feel like, like I said, just for everything, he's just going to grow as the season goes and continue to flourish. So yeah.
How do you feel like you've grown as a leader on a team full of newcomers?
I feel like I'm just a little bit more talkative in certain moments. Obviously, last year not being really on the floor like that, I wouldn't say my 2 cents wasn't like, heard, because, we was heard, me and Jamar was heard. It's just different when you're in the fire with the guys. So, when I see stuff on the court, just we're all, ideas, thoughts, bouncing off of each other's and just trying to talk to find a common goal, which is obviously winning the game. So.
And having to sit out all of last year, I mean, using that to kind of develop your game, what do you think your biggest improvement from last year to this year has been?
I'll probably say my shooting for sure. I worked a lot with Coach Dooley and Coach Chase Buford, just making sure my shot was right, get my form consistent, and get my elbow above my eye. So.
All right, Elmarko, thank you so much.
Thanks, CJ.
Thanks.